Hey, what's up? It's John, aka OPERATIONiDROID, and like many of you, I watched a ton of Galaxy S10 videos before I decided to buy it. This might be your second, third, or maybe even 10th video you're watching on the Galaxy S10, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. It really means a lot. The Galaxy S10 is a beast. It has a QHD Plus display, 4100 milliamp battery if you get the Plus edition, 3 cameras on the back, 2 in the front for a total of 5 cameras if you get the Plus edition, and the front-facing cameras record in 4K, which is absolutely crazy for a 4K camera. And that's just some of the specs and features, but I'm not here to list all of the specs and features. To be honest, you probably know all of them already, and if you don't, I'll have them listed in the description below if you want to check them out. This video, I want to share my experience with the Galaxy S10 Plus and how I pushed it to its limits by testing it out in Disney World.
I'm gonna go to Disney World!
So all of that footage that you just saw was recorded on my Galaxy S10, and to be honest, it looks pretty incredible. Even comparable to a DSLR, which is what I'm using to record this video. And Peter McKinnon made a video all about that, comparing photos from a Galaxy S10 Plus to photos taken on a DSLR camera. So if you want to check that out, I'll have it linked in the description below for you all to watch after this video. Now, as I mentioned before, the Galaxy S10 has 3 cameras on the back, a ultra-wide lens, a wide lens, and a telephoto lens, which is really awesome because it allows you to use the perfect camera for the perfect shot so that you don't have to manually zoom in on your camera anymore and lose quality if you're trying to take a great photo. Now you have a camera for every situation, and honestly, I can say I was switching between these cameras all the time to get the perfect shot. And I love having these 3 cameras on video as well, especially the wide angle lens because it has this super steady mode that allows you to get super buttery footage. I used this to the best of its ability while I was on a safari in Animal Kingdom. Everybody had their phones out trying to record the animals that they were seeing on this wild safari with the truck moving all the way around, and I was still able to get some awesome footage even though the truck was super shaky. The ultra-wide super steady mode was able to keep my footage smooth and nice, which is really awesome. You wouldn't expect that from a phone camera. I especially like the ultra-wide lenses when I'm using the front-facing camera because it allows you to take a selfie with 2 people. I don't know if any of you all have ever struggled with trying to take a selfie of a large group of people. Someone's always getting cut off, but with the new ultra-wide front-facing camera, you can get everyone in your selfie without a problem, which is pretty awesome. Now, although I really like the Galaxy S10's camera, there are a few things that I don't like, 3 to be exact. The first one being that it sharpens your images a lot, and sometimes it overexposes, causing your colors to look a little weird. I don't know what it is, but for some reason Samsung just sharpens the crap out of their images after you take them, and I'm not exactly sure how you can take that out without having to edit the photo. The second thing is that for some reason the front-facing camera smooths your skin out a lot. Like, I don't know what it is, but I take a photo and I look at my skin and I'm just like, yo, that's not what my skin looks like. Like, I wish my skin looked that great, but it doesn't. So for some people that may be a good thing, and for others that may not be a good thing, because having this like super baby smooth skin all the time doesn't look too nice and makes your photos look a little fake. The last thing that I don't like about the camera doesn't necessarily have to do with the camera as much as it has to do with software. I had a ton of instances where I was trying to take a photo and I would hit the shutter button, and it would not take my photo. It would just bug out, not take my photo, and the second that I would move the camera to look down and be like, yo, what the heck is going on, that's when it would take my photo. So the software is a little buggy where at times, this didn't happen all the time, but it happened on at least 3 occasions where I tried to take a photo and it just wouldn't take the photo, and that sucks if you're trying to get a quick shot with your phone, which is what they're meant to be used for. If something's happening, instead of whipping out your DSLR, you take out your phone quick and you'd snap a photo. So if you're looking for a shot and you miss it, then you miss it and there's nothing that you can do about it. And one more thing that really annoys me with Android phones, it's not just the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, is that for some reason Instagram, Snapchat, they don't really update their app that much for Android, and it causes your photos to lose a lot of quality when you're posting it to your stories or if you're posting it to your feed. I don't know what it's about, but for some reason when you post photos on your Galaxy S10 Plus onto your story using the Android Instagram app, they just look like crap compared to photos that you were to upload with an iPhone. It's just weird. I don't know what it is. And for me, that I'm a content creator and I'm constantly posting on Instagram stories, letting my subscribers and followers know what I'm doing, it just sucks when I'm giving them crappy photos. Like, I know the Galaxy S10 doesn't take crappy photos, but when it goes through Instagram, they just get compressed and look horrible. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the camera, which is one of the biggest things that I look at when I'm deciding to get a phone, and maybe that might be the case for you too. But something else that I'm always looking at when I'm trying to get a new phone is the design. And honestly, the design of the Galaxy S10 Plus is pretty sweet in my opinion. I love how clean and slick the phone is. I got it in Prism Black, and personally, I love how the black looks on the phone. It blends in so well with the front of the display, which takes up 93% of the front of the phone, which is crazy. And that's because of the cutout, which everyone is always talking about. The cutout has been a huge topic of conversation. A lot of people don't like it, and there's a lot of people that actually really like it. And I'm one of the people that love the cutout. It gives you so much more room on the phone to use as display as opposed to a notch or having these big borders around the screen. And to be honest, after using it for a week now, I don't even notice the cutout anymore. And the only time I do notice it is when I'm trying to find creative and unique wallpapers to use on my iOS device that kind of show off the cutout on purpose. There's a ton of people making some super dope wallpapers on the Galaxy S10 Plus that really just play on that little cutout to make an awesome wallpaper. The Galaxy S10 has a headphone jack, which is something that is pretty unique now in 2019. Most phones are ditching the headphone jack to get a thinner phone and using the USB-C plug to charge and use headphones. But with the Galaxy S10, you can still use your headphones and charge at the same time, which is something that a lot of people actually care about. Personally, I never use headphones and charge my phone at the same time, but hey, that's just me. Even though it has a headphone jack, the phone is still surprisingly thin and especially light. When I picked up the phone for the first time, I was really surprised to feel how light it was. It's pretty crazy that this phone is so light, and it still feels good in your hand. It's not like it feels super flimsy, but it's light and it's nice. Another feature like the cutout that has brought a lot of attention to the Galaxy S10 is the under-the-screen fingerprint sensor, which is pretty crazy, and we're going to talk about that more later. But as we're talking about the display, I want to talk about the infinity display that the Galaxy S10 has, where the edges of the sides of the phone kind of round out to give you this feeling of it having no bezels on the side, even though it does have bezels on the side. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this display feature. I love the display, but for some reason these rounded corners just kind of give me this weird feeling of distortion and not just infinite display. When I'm using Instagram, it kind of cuts off some of the things on the side, and it's just annoying sometimes that I can't see some of these things that I would normally see if it wasn't for those curved edges. Even though I don't like the cutouts at all, I still really like the display of the Galaxy S10. The quality that you get from the QHD Plus display is pretty crazy. I find myself looking at the screen and just thinking, wow, all of this looks beautiful, whether I'm watching a YouTube video or I'm on Instagram. Just the quality of the things that you're seeing on the screen look amazing. Another aspect of the display is the under-the-screen fingerprint sensor, which is something that not a lot of smartphones have done before and brought a lot of hype to the Galaxy S10. Now, this is something that is fairly new, and because of that, it has its drawbacks. The under-the-screen fingerprint sensor is pretty slow. It's not as fast as a fingerprint sensor that wouldn't be under the screen, and sometimes it doesn't work that well. In my experience, it didn't work a lot for me. Like, 1 out of 3 times the under-the-screen fingerprint sensor would tell me that there was no match and I'd have to do it again, or I'd have to manually put in my passcode, which was pretty annoying. But because of that, I started using the facial recognition, which is actually pretty good. I love that you can raise your phone up to your face, and even if the display is not on, it'll recognize your face and unlock your phone and open it. I hated that on the iPhone 10 or any iPhone device, when you used Face ID, you had to swipe up after using your Face ID. Now, when you unlock your phone with Face ID, on the Galaxy S10, it automatically brings you to your home screen so you can start using your phone right away, which is awesome. And even though the fingerprint sensor was one of the biggest features on the Galaxy S10, I really don't think it's that great. Although a lot of people seem to like it, for me, it just didn't work that well. So as I mentioned, I got the S10 Plus, which has a bigger battery than the normal S10. It has a 4100 milliamp battery, which is huge. It is a really big battery, and the battery life really lasted for me. I was at the Disney World parks from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and throughout that whole time, I was able to keep a good battery level. Like I got back to the hotel and I had like 21% at 11:30, which is crazy. I've never really had a phone that's able to maintain battery for that long after so much usage, because like I said, I was taking photos, videos, using different apps while I was at the park, and the only time that I wasn't really using my phone was when I was riding a ride. And if you've ever been to a theme park, you know that lines can be pretty long, and what do you do when you're in those lines? You use your phone. So it was pretty awesome to see that the battery life on this phone is really good, and the charging, the fast charging, it charges so quick, like it's insane. Like even if I would have lost battery while I was having lunch, I could have put my phone to charge and in 30 minutes gotten back up to like 75%. So the battery on this phone is awesome, and that is one of the big draw points for me, at least. Now, I mentioned the software of the Galaxy S10 a little bit when I was talking about the camera, and I mentioned how it was a little buggy, and bugginess was a reoccurring theme for me when I was using the Galaxy S10. And it's because the Galaxy S10 uses its own version of Android called the One software, Samsung One, Galaxy One. I don't remember the name of it. But honestly, it's not that good. Like, I've never used a Samsung phone in the past, so I've never used this version of Android. I used a Google Pixel, which had stock Android, and to me, that version of Android was pretty good. It's obviously not as good as iOS, which is much more refined, but it was still good, and I love using my Google Pixel. I used my Google Pixel for over 2 years on Android, but there's just something about this Samsung UI that I can't get used to it. But if you've used Samsung phones in the past and you're used to their own custom software, then this Galaxy S10 phone won't be a problem when it comes to software for you, and you'll probably be used to it, unlike me. Even though I mentioned a ton of things that I don't like about the phone, I did mention a lot of things that I do like about the phone, and I really love the phone, and I just wanted to be open with you guys about what I dealt with the phone over the weekend and my thoughts on it. I love the display of the phone, especially the cutout with the wallpapers that you can get with it. It really makes for a really fun phone. The camera on the phone is amazing. Even though I can't really share it with people because Instagram sucks on Android, it's still a dope phone, and I can show it to other people on my phone or show it to you guys through this video. But as I was just talking about, the biggest problem for me is the software. I know that with custom launchers and some tweaking, I can probably get the software to somewhere where I really like it, but with the Google Pixel 4 coming out in just a few months in October or November, and leaks coming out that the display is very similar to the S10 with the cutouts, I'm kind of lazy to figure out all of this launcher stuff and tweaking it when I know that I'm gonna really want to get the Google Pixel 4 in a few months when it comes out, and to shell out $1,000 now for the S10 Plus to only use it for a few months until the Google Pixel comes out and pay another $1,000 is a little steep in my opinion. But if you're a Samsung user, you've used other Galaxy phones in the past, you've never used the Pixel, this might be the phone for you. And I want you to take my opinions and all the other opinions that you've heard in other videos that you watched and take that into consideration before you buy the phone. And if you're still on edge, you're not really sure, you can buy the phone and return it. There's a lot of great return policies out there that give you like 14 days to use the phone, and you can return it no matter what, except if you like break the phone or something. So I think I'm going to be returning my Galaxy S10 Plus and waiting for the Google Pixel 4 to come out to get a new Android device. I'm really happy with my original Google Pixel. I've had it for over 3 years now, and it's ran really well for me. I'm someone that likes to use my phones for a while, especially when there's such a big investment. $1,000 is a lot of money, especially for a phone. So I'm just going to wait for the Google Pixel 4. And I know that I'll be super happy with that phone because I like the previous one. So yeah, that's my review of the Galaxy S10, specifically the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is what I used over the weekend while I was at Disney World, really pushing it to its max potential, taking photos, videos, using apps throughout the whole time that I was there, and just really testing it out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the first time that I've ever done a phone review. I've used a ton of different phones in the past, whether it's a Google Pixel, a Nexus, iPhones, and other phones in general. So if you want to see more reviews like this one, maybe when the Google Pixel 4 comes out, leave a like and I'll definitely consider doing that. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, definitely subscribe to my channel. I make tutorials on Android phones and iOS phones, so you definitely want to see those if you like this one. And with all of that being said, I'll see you guys next week on Saturday for another awesome video like this one. Goodbye.